Hello friends, welcome back. Today we would be learning something very interesting, that is how to automatically create and send PDF invoices using Google Sheets. So this would be very helpful to people who need to send regular invoices to their clients. So using this technique, the entire process of creation of the PDF invoices as well as sending them will be entirely automated. So without wasting any time, let's first see a demo. So this is my Google spreadsheet. For explanation purpose, I have few columns like invoice number, customer ID, customer name, customer email, and from columns E through H, like these are the items which I am selling, and I have noted the quantities, like this customer had bought 12 items of item 1, 0 for item 2, and so on and so forth. I also have another tab over here, the price lookup. So here, whatever are the prices of the item, I have mentioned it over here. So if there is any change in the prices, it is only one place where I have to come over here and update it. And then using the script, we'll create the final invoice and send to the client. And I have few more details over here, like this invoice is for which month, which year, and what is the tax percentage. So this is a generic spreadsheet which I have created. Like you may want to create this kind of a spreadsheet as per your requirement, but this is a generic example. So using this example, I'll show you how to create and send invoices. So once this kind of a spreadsheet is ready, if I click on this button, the invoice should get created and sent automatically. So you could see the script is running, which means in the background it is creating the invoice with the help of the data which has been provided. And once the script execution will get complete, the invoices shall be sent. So let's wait for a few seconds. You could see the message is coming as finished script. Now if I go into my inbox and within my sent items, refresh it, you could see it is showing like it has sent the invoice for August. Like you could see 3 emails. Why you could see 3 emails is, if we come back to the data sheet, row number 2, the total was 0. So if the total amount is 0, I am not sending the invoices. But for rest of the items, the invoices have been sent. I'll just show you the format. So this is also one of the invoice. If I open it, here are the details I'll show you. So now this is invoice number 1001. So if I come back to my data sheet, so invoice 1001, this is for customer John Smith. You could see here we have mentioned bill to party John Smith. Invoice number is 1001. Today is 6 September, so the date is today's date. And now the quantity for item 1, it was 12. So you could see item 1 is 12. The cost it has taken as 15. Why it has taken as 15? Because the cost of item 1 per unit price is 15. So it has taken the data from over there and now it is showing you the total. If we come down here, it is the subtotal, and now it has taken the tax as 5%. Again, we have mentioned the tax as 5% over here. So it has picked up the data from here, did the multiplication, and finally the grand total is 254.1. So this invoice was created and sent automatically just with a click of a button. So this was one of the invoices. Similar to these, like we have other invoices like which were sent, like this is invoice 1003. So you could see the details are again different, and this is again picked up from the customer detail sheets and the price detail sheet. So this was the demo about how to create and send invoices. Now I'll actually showing you how to write the script to achieve this. The first step to create such invoices and send it automatically is to have an invoice template. So if you want to create an invoice template, you have to go to drive.google.com. Within that, you could create a Google Doc. So what I have done over here is I have created one folder called invoice over here. You could see this folder is there. If you want to create a new folder, you have to just click on this thing, then you'll have this option folder. If you click on it, you'll have to provide the name of the folder. So I have already created this folder, and within this folder, the invoice folder, I have this invoice template. So if you want to create your template, again you have to go within the folder. Let's just double click the new folder which you have created, after which you click on this new button over here, and this time select Google Docs and select blank document. And now this is like a regular document, and you could provide the format of the invoice. Like I'll show you my format. My format is like this, invoice template. So I have the company name at the top, the date, bill to party, invoice number, and some details over here. So using this kind of a Google Doc, you could have your own invoice template. You could give your logos, any website link, anything could be provided, but this is a prerequisite. You should have your invoice template ready. I have created a very simple invoice template like this over here. So whatever is your invoice template, create it and save it. I have saved this invoice template, my invoice template, in this invoice folder over here. Okay, now I'll give you more details. So here top is the company name. You should provide your company name over here, and the next details over here, the date I have just marked it as XXXX. Why? I would be replacing this XXXX with the actual date on which I am sending the invoice. Similarly, to which party. So if you had seen the invoice which I had sent to the clients, here I am providing the name. It could be a company name or it could be the client name. So in my example, whatever is the customer name, I am using it over here. So in the script, I would be actually updating these values with the actual client name. Similarly, the invoice number, if you'd see, we had seen 1003, 1001. So again, whatever are the dynamic values over here, I have just provided some codes over here which I would be replacing with the help of my script. And now comes the items. Like I have item 1 2 3 4 here. You could have your actual items which you are selling, and in the next column the quantity. This is again a code. This is item 1, I1Q, I2Q, I3Q, which means the quantity for item 1, quantity for item 2, and so on and so forth. Similarly, this column is for price per unit. It is price for item 1, price for item 2. Next column is total price, T1, T2, T3, T4. So all these things will get actually replaced by the actual values when the script will get executed. Similarly, the subtotal amount, like this text will get updated. In fact, it will get replaced with the actual amount which would be coming through the calculations. So all these things are handled through the Google script, which I'll show you right away. So to write the Google script, you have to go to your spreadsheet, go to tools, script editor. So when you will open it, by default there would be one function called my function, but the name of the function will be my function, which you could replace it with any name of your choice. So I have given the name as create and send invoices. Now this is a very simple code. I'll explain you. So here the first 3 lines of code which I am highlighting right away. So these are for accessing the data from this spreadsheet. So the first one, SP sheet object, would be used to access all the data which is there within this spreadsheet. So it mentions spreadsheet app dot get active spreadsheet. So this is my active spreadsheet, and within the active spreadsheet I have 2 tabs, the customer details and the price lookup. So I have created another object where invoice sheet, and you have used the previous object sp sheet dot get sheet by name customer details. So if I want to perform any operations on the customer details, either read or write, I would be using this object invoice sheet. The next is the price sheet. If you see it, again I am using the sp sheet object dot get sheet by name and the price lookup. So this price sheet object would be used to perform any read or write operations on the price lookup tab. Okay. Next few lines of code are very important. This is very simple. Like this, I have used the str date because I need to provide the date on which the invoice is generated. So I am using this utilities.format date. Here you have to provide your time zone. Whatever is your time zone, just provide that time zone. The next 2 lines of code are the most important lines of code in this entire script. So the invoice folder. So this is the folder where the invoices are getting stored. Like we just saw that the invoices were attached in the email, but before the emails are sent with the attachments, the invoices are getting created and stored somewhere. So you have to provide the folder ID where you are storing the invoices. In my case, within this drive, I am using this invoice folder. I have the template over here, but at this same location I would be storing the invoices as well. So I need to know the this folder ID. So folder ID is nothing, just double click on this folder, the top URL you'll get. Just use the last few alphanumeric values after folders slash. So whatever is present after folder slash, that is your folder ID. Copy it and paste it over here. So drive app dot get folder ID, whatever is the alphanumeric string, that is the ID. Next is, I told you we would be using the template to create the actual invoices. So my invoice template is present over here. So I need this ID as well. So just double click on this invoice ID, Again, you'll get the URL on the top. Be careful, like select this alphanumeric string before /edit, copy it and provide it over here. So this time you're using var invoice template, like these variables, whatever is on the right hand side of var, these variables could be of any name, just provide any logical names. So var invoice template is equal to drive app dot get file id. This time I'm not using folder because I am referring to the template file, not the folder. Previously we were referring to folder, so we had selected get folder id. This time I'll use get file id and provide the id which I had just shown. Next few lines of code are very simple. We are just declaring and initializing some variables. So if you see var invoice number, cust id, cust name, cust email, so these variables are for these columns. So each column has its equivalent variable in the script. Quantity item 1 2 3 4 I have initialized to 0. So these are, so I'll be having the quantities of each items over here. So for those columns I have equivalent variables. Now comes the price. Price item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. So price I have initialized to 0, but actually I would be picking up the price from this column. Within price lookup, the column B has the prices. I'll show you where it is in the code. Similarly, I have variables initialized for total price, like each item total price I have initialized to 0. So whenever the calculations would be performed, the final value would get populated in column I. Before that, before the calculations are done, I have initialized to 0. Tax percentage, tax amount, subtotal price, all the variables which I have created, I have initialized to 0. Now, price item 1, this variable I had created, I am fetching the price item 1 from the price sheet. The price sheet will take the value from the price lookup from the range which we have provided. So the range is get range B2. So price item 1 would be 15. Similarly, price item 2, 3 and 4 I am fetching from price sheet B2, B3, B4 and B5. Tax percentage is coming from F4. You could see tax percentage 5% is coming from F4. And now total rows. I need to generate invoices for all my clients. So I should know the total number of rows for whom I want to create and send invoices. So I need to send invoices for my clients. I am having 4 clients over here. You may have more than 4 clients or less than 4 clients. So to send the invoices to all the clients, I am calculating the total number of rows from the invoice sheet. If you remember, the invoice sheet is mapped to the customer details. So to get the total number of rows within the customer details sheet, this line of code is getting used. Total rows is equal to invoice sheet dot get last row. Once I have all these details, I am using a simple for loop. This for loop will iterate for all the rows for row number equal to 2. I'm starting from row number equal to 2 because my first customer detail is present at row number 2. So for row number equal to 2, row number is less than total rows, row number plus plus. Now I am actually reading the data. Invoice number is coming from column A, the other details from the respective columns. You could see quantity 1, 2, 3, 4 is coming from E, F, G, H. Now the total price for each item. So each item is the total number of quantity into the price. So I'm doing a simple multiplication over here, like I get the total price item. Then this variable subtotal price is nothing but the summation of the prices of all the items. Next is tax amount. So tax amount is a floating value. So make use of this kind of a syntax, parse float. Tax percentage, like whatever is the tax percentage variable is storing, multiply by subtotal price. So subtotal price is coming from your tax percentage we had seen earlier, and then I am doing a 2 fix. So it is I am fixing it to 2 decimal points. Finally, the total price is nothing but the total of sub total price and the tax amount. Invoice month and year, they are coming from F2 and G2 respectively. So within the price lookup, if I come to F2, this is for August and the year is 2021. So I am reading those values from here. Once I get the total price, like at line number 66, I am getting the total price. I am populating the invoice sheet, the first customer details sheet with the total price. For each of the rows, the total price will get populated. So this would be a verification point, like what is the total value. Like if you would see the email and check like whether the totals are matching with the values which are present in column I. So at this point in the script, all the calculations are completed. Now we have to create the invoice and send it to the clients. Now the invoice would be created and sent only if the total price is greater than 0. We had seen in the example there were 3 emails and there was no email for row number 2 because the total price is 0. So here I have added a condition. Only if the price is greater than 0, go ahead and create the invoice. So now how to create the invoice? So to create the invoice, what we are doing is like we are going to back to the invoice template. Like we have the invoice template ready, and in the earlier part of the code we had created an object for it, invoice template. So we would be creating a copy of the invoice template using the syntax which I am showing right now. So the syntax goes like this: I'm using the invoice template object dot make copy, and where I'm making the copy within the invoice folder. So this is my invoice folder. I have the invoice template, so I'm creating a copy of it because I would be performing some operations on the copy. The template would remain as is because I need to create more invoices from the template, but I would be manipulating the copy which would be created. So I'll show you. I'll execute this in a debugging mode so that it would be clear what is happening in the background. So to execute it in the debugging mode, I just placed a breakpoint over here, and now I click on this debug button. The execution will stop at the debug point. So you could see now it has stopped at this debug point at line number 77. Actually I should have placed it at 76, but that is not a problem. So what happened in the background at line number 75, invoice template dot make copy at the invoice folder got executed. So if I check my invoice folder now this copy of invoice template has been created. So next is we have to manipulate the contents of this copy. So if you see the next line, we are creating a raw file object which is doing nothing. It is just opening this newly created copy of invoice template file in a programmatic mode. So we are not able to see it, but internally it is opening it. And the next line, line number 77, we are trying to read its contents. So whatever are the contents of this raw file, using this line raw file dot get body, we are getting its content. Please make a note of these two lines because these are very important. Line number 76, we are using the document app dot open by id using the previous object raw invoice file dot get id. So this is the id of the file and we are opening that file, and the next line is we are fetching the content of the file. So raw file content will have the whatever are the contents, like whatever is in the template, like the copy is same as this invoice. So whatever are these contents like company name, invoice, this entire content is getting stored in this variable raw file content. Next step would be to replace the contents of this raw file. So whatever we are fetching from the actual Google sheet, like the customer name, whatever are the quantities, the price, everything should get replaced in the raw file content. So if you would see from line number 79 onwards, we are just performing replace operation. So we are just using this function called replace text. The replace text function takes two parameters. The first parameter is what is the text which I want to replace. So in our case, like these are the text, like from the invoice template, whatever things which we need to replace, like bill to party, invoice number with the excess. So these are the things which we need to replace. So those are provided as the first parameter, then a comma, and the second parameter is the actual value which should be replaced with. So bill to party remains as is, but the cust name right now it was this thing, but I am replacing it with the actual customer name which is coming from the Google sheet. So all the values which I am replacing from row number 79 will get like all these values, the quantities, the prices, the total price, everything will get replaced with the actual value from the Google sheet. If you would come at line number 97, now subtotal amount in the document is over here. So this thing, subtotal amount, will get replaced with the actual calculated amount which is stored in this variable subtotal price. So one thing should be noted, that is when we are creating this template, make sure like all the things which are need to be replaced are unique. If you'll replace if similar text will get repeated anywhere else in the document, then that will also get replaced. So make sure whatever things you want to replace in the script are unique. Okay, so once all the replacements are done, then comes a very important step. For now I am just stopping the execution, and now I will place my breakpoint at line number 108, and I'll remove it from the previous line. Okay, and what I'll do is I will also delete this copy of invoice template. Now let's see what happens when my execution reaches line number 108. Up till here we understood like we are replacing the text. To make you understand like these lines of code which I'm highlighting, I have placed the breakpoint at line number 108. So now once again I click on this debug button, the execution has started. It will stop at line number 108. Okay, so at this point the execution has stopped, and now once again if I go to the folder, you could see now the copy of invoice template remains as is with the contents replaced, but at the same time the PDF file is generated. So how did the PDF file got generated? So if you see, line number 105 and 106 are doing that job. So I've created one variable where PDF invoice is equal to raw file. Like we were using the raw file, we had saved and closed the raw file at 103. So I'm using this raw file and now telling it that its type should be PDF. So this is the general syntax which we use, and at line number 106 I am providing its name. So I have provided the name as invoice plus is a concatenation operator, the cust ID, so which means this is for customer ID which is coming from the Google Sheet. So cust ID 1001. So my name of the invoice would be invoice underscore 1001. So if you see, invoice underscore 1001 has been created. Similarly, other invoices will get created. So once this invoice in the PDF format is generated, I no longer need this copy of invoice template, else it would be an extra file. So what I am doing is at line number 108, I am removing it. If I execute this line 108, see only one line of code got executed, and in the background you could see the copy has vanished. It has been removed and only I have 1001. So at this point our PDF invoice is ready to be sent. So if we once again come back to the code, the next few lines of code, at line number 109 we are defining a variable for the mail subject. So I've just kept the subject as invoice for the month. So the whatever is the month provided in the price sheet, like here I have the month as August, AUG, and then invoice here which is 2021. So this would be the mail subject. The mail body, it is just a one liner. Invoice for the month of August is generated, details are attached. And finally line number 111, Gmail app.sendMail, this will actually send the mail. The first parameter is the email, so it is stored in the cust email variable. Next is the mail subject, so this is the mail subject. Mail body, it is coming from 110, and then this highlighted section is the attachment, so it should be exactly as is. So we had this variable created at 106, so this is the PDF invoice dot get as mindtype.pdf. so make sure like the syntax is as is, and the email would be sent with the invoice. This entire script is available on the blog, I'll show you, don't worry about that. But before that, now I am stopping the execution, and now I am also deleting this invoice. We'll execute the entire script in one go. So this is my script, this is ready. So if you want to trigger this script through with the help of this kind of a button, what you have to do is go to insert, drawing, select it, select a shape, select this shape. When you click, you will get this kind of a object here. If you do a right click, it will give you an option to edit the text. I am just writing, click here and save and close. Once you do that, the object will be available. You could just drag and drop it anywhere on the screen. So I just did that, and here you could see on the top these three three dots. These are very important because we have to associate the button with this function. So just copy the function name, right click on this object, go to assign script and paste the function name. That's it. Once you do that, now this button is associated with the script. So my entire script is ready. I also created the button. I am deleting the totals from here. I delete that. Now I click on this button and let's observe what happens. So I click this, you could see the script is running. It will take few seconds. You could see the first total has been populated, second is 0, so the email should not be sent for the second item. Third one has got populated now, and within few seconds the last one will also get populated. Then we'll verify the sent items. So the emails have been sent to the respective clients. If I go back to my inbox, sent items, refresh it, you could see now the emails, like it is 7:02 p.m. you could check it is 1903, so just a minute ago the emails have been sent. Here it is in 12-hour format, here it is, the timings are in 24-hour format, but the emails have been sent. If I just open one of the invoice, this is 1004, just open it and see. So date, it is sent to the client, invoice number, the total is 504. If I check back in the sheet, the total here is 504. So as you saw, the script is doing its job. It is creating and sending the invoices. The invoices are also available over here. Like these are the invoices which were created. It will stay here until you delete them. So this was a tutorial about creating and sending invoices automatically. Using the procedure which I explained, you can entirely eliminate the manual process of creating and sending invoices, and it would be taken care automatically. The script which I have over here, which I had executed and explained, is entirely available at the blog. Under Google Sheets, create and send invoices, click on it, and the entire script is available over here. You could refer this and create your own script to automate the procedure of creating and sending invoices. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you like my tutorials, I would request you to please subscribe to my channel so that you would be updated with the latest tutorials I would be uploading. Guys, thanks for joining. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.